Hello and welcome to another one of our Advent devotional videos for here in 2024. In many of these videos, we've been going over people to show how Jesus is the true and better Abel or Noah. I've done, others have done like Boaz. And these are all true things. And on Sundays, we're covering various people. But there are also institutions or events in the Old Testament that are types and shadows that point forward to Jesus. And I want to talk about one of those today and show how Jesus is the true and greater Day of Atonement. The Day of Atonement, or it's sometimes you've heard the phrase Yom Kippur, that is the Hebrew, that means Day of Atonement, is spoken about in Leviticus chapter 16. It lays out its regulations. And in brief, there are two key things that were to happen on the Day of Atonement. There were two animals that were brought forward. First, a bull that was going to be put to death for propitiation, to appease God's wrath. And then there was a scapegoat, a goat that was sent away outside the camp for expiation, to take away sin. So the high priest would take the bull and put hands on its head, and it would transfer the sin of the people to the bull, and the bull would be slain to appease God's wrath, so to cover over the people's sin. And then they would take this scapegoat, they would put their hands on its head, they would transfer the sin, and it would be sent off into the wilderness to carry the people's sins away. But all of that was only a type and shadow. It was done every year on Yom Kippur, on the Day of Atonement. But the book of Hebrews tells us in Hebrews 10, 3 and 4, that those sacrifices were only an annual reminder of sin. So notice he's got the annual sacrifice, the Day of Atonement, in mind. He says, because it's impossible for the blood of bulls and goats to take away sins. So see, the Yom Kippur with the bull of propitiation and the scapegoat of expiation was only a type and shadow. Jesus is the true and better, the actual Yom Kippur. He fulfills it all. Like the sacrificial bull, he has taken our sin. It was placed on him, and he has bore the righteous wrath of God. This is propitiation. This is atonement, that there is no more penalty for our sins. But Jesus is also our scapegoat. He takes our sin to himself, and he was taken away. He was taken outside the camp. He died outside the city, and he did that to remove our sins from us. In fact, as it says in the Psalms, he's removed our sins as far as the east is from the west. They are forgotten. They are remembered no more. This is great news for us. Jesus came to be Yom Kippur in the flesh. He came to be the true and greater Day of Atonement because he removes our sin once and for all. We don't have to come back next week or next month or next year to offer yet another sacrifice. Jesus has taken it away. There are no more sacrifices that will ever be needed. So as you go through this day, take time to give thanks to God, to say, I am so grateful that Jesus is the greatest sacrifice at all. He has fulfilled it all. He is my Yom Kippur. He has taken my sins away. He has borne the wrath of God. I am removed from them. I am now under the blessing of God. What a great gift we have in Jesus Christ, the true and greater Day of Atonement. I hope you have a great day, and I look forward to continue to tuning in to the final week of these devotionals for Advent 2024. God bless.